Welcome back. Today we're discussing the health of our waters with Sound Rivers. And now we're joined by Program Director Clay Barber. And I appreciate you being here today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you are the Program Director. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background?
Yeah, so North Carolina native. I've spent probably the majority of my life between Martin County, Pitt County, and Moore County, and specifically in very rural areas and in very highly developed, I called it the country club capital of the world, but I got to see a big contrast in the different types of environments and different types of lifestyle and society circles and how they all kind of impact each other, which kind of led me to what I did for school, which was recreation and park management at East Carolina University, and then went back to do sustainable tourism at East Carolina University. And then started renting kayaks and doing river tours in Pitt County and the surrounding area on the Tarpamlico River, and spending a lot of free time on the Roanoke River. And I felt really privileged to have a lot of open space, a lot of clean environments, a lot of interaction with nature that a lot of people don't get. And so I wanted to make sure that I'm doing what I can to give people the same opportunities that I had.
All right, so it's a kind of a give back. That's how you got involved.
Yeah.
So Program Director, I guess just by the name we can kind of guess what it is you do, but why don't you tell us?
It's incredibly hard to tell what you're going to be getting into month to month. We make plans as best we can, and then we adapt is the name of my game. So it'd be easier to break down our programs. We have a litter-free rivers program, which the sole purpose is to get as much trash out of the waterway as possible, and we do that through trash traps that are passive collection devices that float in the creek, and as water flows through it, it catches debris that floats on the surface, and then we have volunteers go and remove that trash and pick through it and see what it is and report what we find to our research partners and grant funders and all that. We host and support a lot of river cleanups, whether it be a private company wanting to do an employee team building day or a group of kids or adults that are just trying to do some community service, get some volunteer hours, or folks that are retired looking for fun things to do, ways to give back. We try and funnel all those people into the most effective endeavors to just pick up all the plastic waste and
How
everything.
bad is it?
It's kind of bad.
It
and
is?
it's
Really?
predictably bad whenever you get near a large city. So development and people equals trash in our waterways. And so that's where we're trying to focus our efforts to collect the trash. And on top of that, I'll say, unfortunately, a lot of times it's those communities without resources and without a lot of money and a lot of attention that get the biggest impacts of waste and trash.
Well, it impacts us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also the wildlife.
Yeah, I mean, if you want healthy fish to catch and, animals to view, we have a lot of people that love to hunt and fish and hike and camp and swim. And I mean, North Carolina and our watersheds, the Neuse and Tarpamlico, there's a really large variety of recreational opportunities outside of the fact that we just need water to survive, and it's healthy. But yeah, nobody wants to go fishing in a nasty waterway.
I know you guys also are restoring wetlands as well.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Wetlands need all the help they can get right now. We just had some wild political decisions get made that are leaving wetlands very open to development right now, where in the past they've had a lot of protections because they're incredibly important ecosystems. They are like giant sponges for floodwaters, for pollution, and they're like mini estuaries for nature to like start life. They're crucial features in any landscape, and the more that we fill them in purposefully or on accident, and the more we junk them up, the less they're going to function, and the more we have to replace by recreating wetlands and rain gardens and all these what we call retrofits in the stormwater world.
Well, I've been out in North Carolina quite a while, and it rains a lot, and a lot of rain at once. What about the runoff? And it could be from the roof of a house to, you're talking about urban areas as well. How bad is it, and how does it impact the waterways?
It's not great, again, where there's a lot of development. People equals development equals runoff, because impervious surface is how we've structured our lives. Parking lots, sidewalks, just even your bare lawn can be compacted enough that it's not really soaking up water. So, in a place like Durham or Raleigh or Charlotte or any of these giant cities, Greenville, Rocky Mount, Tarboro, that concentration of impervious surface leads to a concentration of water hitting the river at a high velocity and in a very tight pattern, and that is a recipe for erosion. It's a recipe for transporting nutrients and chemicals and trash straight from their source, which is like the parking lot and the building and stuff, straight into the river.
Let me ask you this. You always can tell when an old man asks a question when he says, back in my day. But back in my day, people didn't seem to care nearly as much as they do today. So the question I have for you is, has it improved a great deal? And in your workings with like city and planning for all the things we've been talking about, what kind of cooperation are you getting?
There are a lot of really good success stories out there where we've identified the problem, we've identified the source, and there's been action taken, like enthusiastic action to solve the problem. And then you see the benefit, like those passive litter collection devices and river cleanups and all these initiatives where you're just removing trash. It's incredibly rewarding and inspiring because you see the results quickly. It's like, this place looked awful and now it looks fantastic, and now we're focusing on the wildlife, and you're not distracted by the trash, you're not grossed out by the trash. The wildlife is like living better. Mm-hmm. So that tends to spur action. Sometimes we can get bogged down in the budgets and the political atmosphere. Those all definitely have impacts, but it is not an unwinnable battle by any means. If you have some enthusiasm and you have support, like, we can get trash out of rivers.
We're almost out of time, but I do want to ask you about, it's getting hot. People are going to be swimming. Do you have a swim guide for folks? I mean, I bet people don't think twice about jumping in the water. What might be a problem or what might not be a problem?
Yeah, we refer to it as Swim Guide. The Swim Guide is its own nonprofit organization, and we are a affiliate partner that samples water, and we use their platform to get our results out as far and wide as we can. Like, this is a global platform, and you can just get on your phone, you can type in, they're all called beaches, but whatever waterway you're gonna go visit, you can search for it and see if there's data for it. And we try to provide as much data at popular recreational destinations as we can. That's usually like state-owned wildlife boat ramps, parks, greenways, canoe launches, places that we know people are going to come into contact with the water. And we try and sample for E. coli and enterococci bacteria so that we can release that data weekly in the summertime when it's peak season and monthly in the off seasons for the rest of the year. And we just want people to have as much data as they can about the quality of the water that they're about to go recreate in, so they can make informed decisions about where they go.
Knowledge is powerful.
Yeah,
Great, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Oh, and thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you have any questions or you'd like to know more, visit our websites at RaleighCW.com and myrdctv.com. I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters, and we'll see you next week.